Ever get lost in those sprawling family trees?
Mm-hmm.
Wondering about the faces behind the names and the dates. Well, today we're going way back, diving deep into a family saga. And this one is more than just genealogy. It's about resilience. It's about faith. And it's definitely about the enduring power of love.
Mm-hmm.
We're turning the pages of John and Patricia Hogeterp, a history and collection of stories
Ah, yes.
to uncover the lives of Dutch immigrants in Canada.
And it's a story that resonates really far beyond just one family,
Yeah.
especially in that post-World War II era.
Yeah.
Really captures the experience of so many Dutch immigrants seeking a fresh start in Canada.
Right. We're talking about Johannes,
Yes.
later known as John,
Mm.
and Piricha, who became Patricia. They began their story in Friesland back in the 1930s. Not exactly an easy place. Not an easy time, was it?
No. Imagine pre-war Friesland. I mean, economic hardship was like this constant companion, especially for farmers.
Yeah.
And that's where we find John and Patricia, working tirelessly as laborers, their lives just shaped by the realities of that world.
So what sparked their decision? To leave everything they knew, to cross the ocean, to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Well, like many at that time, they dared to dream of a brighter future, particularly for their children, right?
Of course.
Stories of opportunity in Canada were circulating, among the Dutch community, fueling their hope for a better life. And that hope led them to a life-altering decision. In 1947, they packed their belongings, gathered their young family, and boarded the Tabinta.
The Tabinta. That was a converted troop ship, wasn't it? Can you imagine that journey? I mean, talk about a mix of emotions.
Yeah.
The anticipation, the uncertainty.
Absolutely. Those ships, once carrying soldiers through the turmoil of war, now became vessels of hope, transporting families, seeking peace and opportunity. It's a poignant symbol of that era, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. So they arrive in Montreal.
Yes.
Then boarded train to Waterford, Ontario.
Yeah.
But their final destination was actually a small village called Villanova. Why there?
Villanova at the time was a hub for Dutch immigrants. It offered a sense of community, a familiar language, and the support, of those who understood the challenges of adapting to a new land.
And it's in this new environment that we see a subtle yet telling shift.
Yes.
Johannes and Piricha become John and Patricia, their names anglicized.
And that seemingly small detail speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It does.
It wasn't uncommon for immigrants to anglicize their names, right?
Right.
Often facing pressure to assimilate, to fit in. It's a reminder of the sacrifices many made, willingly or not, as they carved out a place for themselves in their adopted homeland.
It does make you think about the weight of those decisions. The balance between holding onto your heritage and embracing a new identity. Their early years in Canada, they were undoubtedly challenging. The book describes them living in close quarters with their growing family, the constant struggle to make ends meet.
And tragically, they faced unimaginable loss.
Yeah.
In 1950, their young son, Seb,
Oh, man.
died in a heartbreaking accident.
Oh, wow.
I can only imagine the depth of their grief, the pain of losing a child so soon after building a new life.
It's hard to even fathom. But amidst their sorrow, just a few months later, their daughter, Hazel, was born. It's almost as if life, in its own way, offered a glimmer of hope, a testament to their resilience.
Exactly, their ability to find light in the darkest of times. It speaks volumes about their character and this strength, this unwavering spirit. It becomes a recurring theme in their story.
It's incredible to think that just a few years later, after such a devastating loss, they achieved something pretty remarkable.
You're right. In 1954, they purchased a farm.
Wow.
In Jarvis, Ontario. It was really a testament to their incredible work ethic and their unwavering commitment to creating a better future, for their family.
Talk about a dream realized. They went from farm laborers to landowners. That's a huge leap.
It really is. And it wasn't just about the land itself. For John and Patricia, owning a farm, it represented stability, independence, and the opportunity to truly plant roots. In their adopted country. It was a tangible symbol of their hard-won success.
But their story doesn't end there. In the book, their children talk about how John and Patricia were instrumental in establishing the Jarvis Christian Reformed Church.
Yes.
And the Jarvis District Christian School.
And that speaks volumes about their priorities and their deep-seated faith. They weren't just building a home for themselves. They were building a community.
Yeah.
A place where where their values and beliefs could be nurtured and shared.
There's a quote from their daughter Hazel that I found incredibly moving.
Okay.
She said, "They poured their heart and soul into that church and school, not because they sought recognition, but because they truly believed in the power of faith and education to shape young lives."
That's a beautiful testament to their character. They weren't motivated by personal gain or ambition. Their focus was always on the well-being of their family and their community.
It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most enduring legacies are built not on grand gestures, but on those quiet acts of service.
Absolutely.
And dedication.
And for a while, it seemed their life was a testament to that hard-won happiness. Their children were growing. They had this incredible community they'd helped build. But as we often find with these deep dives into family history, life had other plans.
Tragically, yes.
Yeah.
In 1968, tragedy struck again when their son, Henry, was killed in a car accident.
It's heart-wrenching. To experience such profound loss, not once but twice, is almost unimaginable. The book doesn't delve too deeply into their grief, but you can sense the profound impact Henry's death had on the entire family.
It makes you wonder how they found the strength to go on, to find joy again after such a loss.
Their resilience is truly, truly remarkable. And it's in those moments of adversity that we see the true strength of their family bonds. Their son-in-law, Mike DeBeer, who was married to their daughter Rose, played a significant role during that difficult time.
Right. Mike had always wanted to farm, and he stepped in to help John and Patricia.
Yes.
Eventually taking over the farm completely, which allowed them to retire.
It's a poignant turning point in their story. They had poured their hearts into that farm, and now it was time to pass the torch, to allow a new generation to nurture the land and continue their legacy in a different way.
And they didn't just disappear into retirement. Their legacy, much like the roots of a mighty oak, continued to spread and flourish in the hearts of their family. They may have left the farm, but their presence continued to loom large in the lives of their children and grandchildren. But before we get into that, I'm curious, what strikes you most about this chapter of their lives?
What resonates with me is that even amidst immense hardship, they never lost sight of their values, their faith, their dedication to family and community. Those were the pillars that held them steady. They understood that life is a tapestry, woven with both joy and sorrow, and they face both with remarkable grace and dignity.
And that's where the real heart of this story lies, don't you think? In those moments of joy, those everyday memories shared by their children and their grandchildren, that we truly understand their impact. They may have been farmers, but their legacy. Their legacy is so much more.
Absolutely. As I read through these personal recollections, a vivid picture emerged. It's like stepping into a family photo album. Each snapshot revealing a different facet, of their personalities and the warmth they radiated.
There's a lot of talk about family gatherings.
Oh, yes.
Those big, boisterous affairs filled with laughter and food.
Yes.
And maybe a bit of good-natured chaos.
Oh, absolutely. The book is filled with these wonderful anecdotes. There's one about John, in his 80s, playfully wrestling with his grandsons.
Oh, wow.
Much to Patricia's amusement, right?
That's great.
And the stories about Patricia's baking.
Yeah.
It seems she always had a fresh batch of cookies or a pie ready for anyone who walked through the door.
It sounds like food was definitely a love language for them.
Without a doubt. And these gatherings, they weren't just about, the food. They were about connection, about reinforcing those family bonds that meant everything to them.
And what about their faith? We've talked about how important it was in their early lives, and in establishing the church, and the school. But did that continue through the generations?
It's woven into the very fabric of their family's story.
Yeah.
One recurring image that struck me was the family Bible.
Okay.
This wasn't just any book. It had journeyed with them from the Netherlands, was lost for a time, and then miraculously found its way back to the family.
Wow, talking about a symbol.
Right.
It's like a physical representation of their faith, enduring through generations, through loss, through change.
Exactly. It's a tangible link to their heritage, a reminder of the values they held dear and passed down to their children and their grandchildren.
So as we close the book on this chapter of the Hogeterp family saga, what is it that stays with you? What will you remember most about John and Patricia's story?
For me, it's a poignant reminder that history isn't just about, dates and major events. It's about the small moments, the everyday triumphs and tragedies that shape a life. John and Patricia's story, like so many family stories, it's about resilience. It's about love and the enduring power of family.
It's a powerful story.
It reminds us that the greatest legacies are often built not on wealth or fame,
right,
but on the love we share, the values we uphold, and the memories we create with those who matter most.
Well said. Well said. And for anyone listening, I think it begs the question, what stories lie hidden in your own family tree? Yeah. What legacies have shaped who you are today? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.